Welcome to Slash Bash, where today I am bringing you another Am I the Butthole Reddit video. In our first story, am I the butthole for saying I prefer sushi to children? Let's jump right in. Okay, so straight to it. My husband and I, both in our early 30s, have been together for over a decade and have made the decision to not have kids. I like kids. I have nieces and nephews. We just don't want them for our own reasons. He had a vasectomy, which only a few people know about. Our families are aware we don't want kids, as they've asked this before during different major life events, our wedding for instance. We recently bought a 3-bedroom home with a nice yard in a nice area. Excited to show our new home to family and friends, a major upgrade to our previous home, we hosted a housewarming. During the party, one of my sibling-in-laws, Alex, made a few indirect comments about all this space and kids would love it in our house, etc. Eventually, they asked point-blank when we were having kids. I made a lighthearted joke about it, which is my go-to for this question. Oh, well, I like sushi too much to have to give it up for a pregnancy. Plus, not drinking for pregnancy and breastfeeding? No thanks. I tried to make it very light-hearted and laugh it off. Most people just laughed along. That seemed to anger Alex, and I was told, children are a joy and a good mother puts her kids before everything else. I agreed. Children are a joy. I like to spend time with the nieces and nephews, and obviously I can't be a good mom if I choose sushi over kids, so I just won't be a mom. I'm still trying to brush it off in a gentle way because I'm not trying to start a fight by telling them to stop asking in front of everyone because I know my tone will be seen as rude and abrasive. We move on, but Alex is still annoyed and making little comments in their group about how flippant I am about it and how when it finally happens, then I'll understand. My husband heard this and said jokingly, well, if she gets pregnant, that'll be a problem for the divorce lawyers. That seemed to piss them off more, but they stopped. With holidays coming up, we have not been invited to Alex's usual Halloween bonfire. When my husband spoke to his parents, they told him Alex was annoyed we were so careless and callous about our child-free status and to say what we did, and they realized we had taken permanent steps to ensure we never had kids. That we know they had to do in vitro fertilization to have kids, etc., and we are buttholes to just not care. I feel bad, because they did do in vitro fertilization and lots of fertility treatments to have their kids, and even then they still had a few miscarriages. I can't imagine wanting kids and struggling to have them and then deal with miscarriages. But at the same time, I'm so tired of justifying living my life how I want. Am I the butthole? Story number 2. Am I the butthole for publicly calling out the school nurse? I am a 34-year-old male. My daughter with type 1 diabetes is 11. My daughter has type 1 diabetes and has been diagnosed since she was 5. For the most part, she handles it like a champ, but she's a kid. Sometimes it sucks. I don't blame her when she's upset about it. She's gotten very good at managing how she's feeling and speaking up when she feels off or wrong. That said, she's 11, and the nurse and 2 of her block teachers are meant to supervise when she gives herself medication. We have a 504 plan in place at her school and have had it in place since diagnosis. I have conferences with teachers every year, and since she started at the middle school this year, her new nurse and administrative staff. I let my daughter speak her piece and let her feel heard. She's struggled with non-school extracurricular before, ignoring her concerns when she says she doesn't feel good because she looks fine. This school year started the end of August and we met a week prior. I got a call Monday afternoon while I was at work saying that the school bus driver had to call the ambulance for my daughter on the way home because she fainted. My job is 40 minutes away, so I said I would meet them at the hospital. She was awake and chatting with her nurse when I got there. Her blood sugar had dropped very, very low while she was at school. She was feeling better and didn't seem too bothered, so I took her home once allowed to and let her pick a movie to watch. Once the movie was over, I asked if she didn't feel good at school. I needed to make sure she wasn't ignoring her symptoms and had eaten lunch. She told me that she felt weird just before the end of the day and checked her sugar with her teacher, who had sent her to the nurse when it was really low. When she told the nurse she needed glucagon, the nurse said no and she should take it at home when she gets there. At this point, I was raging. The nurse did not give her her medication and then sent her to the bus. The 504 plan in place has a stipulation that if her blood sugar is too low at the end of the day, she cannot take the bus home. The nurse is supposed to give her glucagon, and I get called to pick her up or arrange someone to take her home. The bus drivers aren't trained to know what to look for or to give her medication. I called the school Tuesday morning to arrange a meeting to talk about what happened. We scheduled it, but it hasn't happened yet. In the meantime, I went wild. Mile-long Facebook post with pictures of the 504 and hospital bill and me ranting. It kinda took off and got a lot of attention. Last night, my siblings and coworkers started telling me maybe I went too far in making the post, specifically in my naming the nurse. It was shared in a couple of different pages on Facebook for our country and town, and a lot of people have been making comments on the school board's social medias about the nurse. A lot of the outrage comes from other parents with kids on 504 or IEP plans. Am I the butthole for calling out the school and the nurse? Story number 3. Am I the butthole for telling my sister that she has always had it easy? I'm a 25-year-old female, and my sister is also a 25-year-old female. We were very close when we were young, but things changed when our father passed away and our mother had to raise us alone. My mom, according to me, has always favored my sister over me. It wasn't blatant favoritism. She still cared for me and loved me, but my sister was allowed to go to school dances, dye her hair, wear expensive makeup, buy expensive dresses, things which I wasn't allowed to do. My sister changed, and during middle school she became the popular girl while I was the nerd. She often ridiculed me during school, and I complained to my mother about this. My mother comforted me, but never really did anything about the situation. All of this built up resentment for my sister inside me. Every day when I went to school, I had to face her bullying. However, I convinced myself that what she was doing right now didn't matter, that I would end up happier in life because I worked way harder than she did and would end up successful. I got into my dream college after school, and my mother was really happy for me, but at the same time, my sister had failed in some of her subjects and had to repeat the year, so my mom didn't want to go out to dinner to celebrate, since it would upset my sister. Fast forward a couple of years and my sister is getting married to a very rich man. I was very happy for her and attended her wedding. I had a job and was doing pretty good for myself financially, but was under a lot of stress due to high working hours. While I was talking to my sister, she said to me and her friends how sad it must be for me to have worked so hard for all those years and still be so unhappy with my life while she was enjoying hers. She told me that I should have worked smart like her instead of working hard. I got very angry at her and told her that failing school and then deciding to drop out of college was not working smart, and that not everyone was as lucky as her to be born with a pretty face and get married to a rich guy they met on Tinder, even though she herself was a loser. After that, I left. Later, I got a call from my mom telling me that my sister started crying after what I said to her and that I ruined my sister's special day due to my jealousy. She told me to not show my face to her before I was ready to apologize. What my mom said was definitely true. My mom's subtle favoritism towards her, her popularity in school, the fact that she has a husband and I am lonely, and the fact that I have had to work hard all my life and still work 12-hour days to earn money, while she gets served everything on a silver platter while sitting at home, has made me very jealous of her. Am I the butthole? This is John from /Bash. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video and want to be the first to know when the next one drops, then subscribe. I'd love for you to drop a like, share it with your friends, etc. And I'll see you in the next one.